Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, then. Of course, Kofi is here with us this morning. We'll start off with the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust, controversy trails attack on Atiku's convoy in Maiduguri. And underneath, you have, we were attacked by hoodlums carrying APC flags. A former vice president is quoted to say, I thought we had an agreement that, it would just be a peaceful one. It's fake news. Campaign rally held peacefully. That's what the police is quoted to say. Of course, we talked about this, and Kofi mentioned. Thug arrested. Its stage managed to score cheap popularity. Borno government or governor is quoted to say. Census to gulp 533 billion naira. NPC queried for spending 1.9 billion on conference. 2 killed and 10 villages sacked in Kanu headers farmers clash. Oh. And just before we move away from that, petrol to cost 410 naira without subsidy, NNPC is quoted to say. What exactly? It's going to be very difficult. I'm sure this is fake news. I want to believe this is fake news. We can't afford to buy petrol for 410 naira. I don't know. But I can't wait to hear Zika Nyai to talk about this one. Aviation crisis looms over planned the FAN and NMA office. That's quietly not seen. Consumers kick as FCTA increases water rate, and 8 Nigerians win US midterm elections. Okay, well, we will just move away from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
We have The Nation up next. Interesting headlines on the front page as usual. Oil thieves threatening my life, says NNPCL GMD. I don't know what we will say to that. I don't know, maybe but it's a serious situation. We'll get Ezekiel. It took a reaction to this. EFCC, we're investigating crude oil theft. ICPC, NATI demand transparency. More from The Nation. Atiku promises to revive Lake Chad, fight insecurity. 8 Nigerians win in U.S. midterm poll. Why I set my stepchildren ablaze? Suspect said, I think 5 kids ablaze, and he actually has reasons. He said they beat him up. 193,000 PVCs yet to be collected in Kwara. 2023, Buhari predicts victory for Tinubu, says no going back on Naira notes redesign. I saw a picture late last night of a truck somewhere, alleging that truck is a long truck that he using carrying scrap metal or some things like yams and stuff. They said that, claiming it was full of 1,000 naira notes that had been defaced. May God help us. Omotekun Call rescues 6 kidnapped undergraduates in Ondo. That's some good news right there. I have my fears for my re-election. Bala Mohammed cries out, we will rescue Bauchi governor, says Wike. We will rescue Bauchi governor, says Wike. But the song they were singing at the end of that meeting is a bit different from the tone I'm seeing this morning in the papers.
All right, then let's move away from The Nation and take a quick look at the Leadership newspaper. APC crisis escalates. PDP leaders wore Jonathan to placard aggrieved governors. Okay, so I think that that's probably not just the right paper this morning. We'll quickly turn attention to the paper. On the Leadership newspaper, I'd like to take that again. As crisis escalates, PDP leaders wore Jonathan to placard aggrieved governors. And that's how it's written. It says ex-president has enormous influence over them. We're still open to negotiation. I'm inexorably connected with PDP G5 governors. Bola Mohammed is quoted to say this is the riders underneath the caption. NNPC board chairman 10 months after sues PMB for 100 billion naira over sack. Well, regardless who wins 2023 election, tough times lies ahead, and no one could agree less. Insecurity. Please deploy armed drones in strategic location. And who says the Nigerian, security architecture of the police is not, very up to date with the recent technology? Speculators groan as Naira gains and sells at 780 Naira to the dollar. These are some of the riders this morning, or the caption on the leadership newspaper. 8 Nigerian Americans win in U.S. midterm elections. And of course, the president was not very, he was really, really good with the, commendations and comments right there. Calls for humanitarian minister's removal unnecessary, says the presidency. That's it on the leadership.
Let's see quickly stories from the Punch newspaper before bringing our guest in. The lead one there, controversy surrounds Atiku convoy attack in Borno. Ex-VP's envoy attacked thrice, caused injured. APC responsible, this PDP chairman. I think I'll add to that Dino Milai as well. PDP faction behind attacks count APC out. On Nanuga, Borno APC chair, there was no attack. Suspected hoodlum arrested, says police spokesperson. More from the paper. Buhari praised successful tenure for Nigerian Americans elected in U.S. I think the words he used was that they are an asset to Nigeria. I told aggrieved governors my worries, Bala Mohammed. You can see the tone is different from what the nation had. AMCON recovers 307 naira, a billion naira debt. INEC to sanction 23 workers for illegal registration. Car rams Ogun motorcyclist on one way, 6 crushed. It's really, really sad. And then it'll also, make us understand why it is important when authorities arrest people who do such things. Again, kidnappers strike on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, commuters shot. Why Nigeria can't implement AU free movement is coming from FG. It's Kalayetuk. Welcome once again. Let's start with the situation with the PDP as far as the Atiku campaign is concerned. Of course, he was in Maiduguri yesterday. There was some controversy surrounding that. I would like you to speak first about the G5 visit to Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. We all expected that when they came out to face the press, as they normally would, that Bala Mohammed would join Samuel Otom in saying to hell with Atiku. But what did we get? Instead, it was Otom saying to everybody he's sorry for what he said. Wike saying he is not, foreclosed on reconciliation, is open to reconciliation. And Bala Mohammed sounding a bit, not too controversial. So what are your thoughts on that? Then secondly, please also to give us your thoughts on the controversy from the PDP campaign in Borno State.
Okay. First, concerning the G5, I think a lot of times we fail to realize that every game has its rules. You really have to understand that politics operates on certain principles and not what you think. For instance, if you play the game of football, except you are the goalkeeper, you cannot touch the ball. In a game of football, except you are the goalkeeper, you cannot touch the ball. So no matter what argument you put out, whatever it is, whatever reason, your hand must not touch the ball, or else it's a foul. And if it's in the penalty area, it is called penalty, and you'll be penalized, as well. So what am I trying to say? In politics, we rationalize politics, but the game of politics makes it such that you have to know how to play it. And the G5 people are playing the politics, You don't want to foreclose anything. And what Autumn did for me was right, because the statement he made was overgeneralized. And for him to say what I did was wrong, I think it is something commendable. And he chose a good place. And then, Wike is a master. He's starting to look a little more politically savvy than we know. He knows that there are certain PDP people that are like, you are playing too hard. One of my friends told me something, what he called the devil something game. He says, if you play too hard, you lose your father. If you play too soft, you lose your mother. If you don't play at all, you lose your father and your mother. So you've got to know how to play. You've got to know when to slow. You've got to know when to pick up speed. You've got to know when to be hedgy. You've got to know when you should not be, when people are starting to over predict you kind of, with what they did yesterday, people in PDP may start to relax and drop their defenses. And if Atiku was trying to have a plan B, he might just start jettisoning the plan B and then now thinking in terms of a possibility of reconciliation. And also, if he was negotiating with another group and the other group were thinking that we've got them, they've got to realize that, well, we've got to up our game with them. We've got to press a little harder. We've got to give them a little more of what they want. This is politics, unfortunately. What the most annoying thing is that this is the door to governance, and governance is the most important institution after God. So we are when I say we, I mean office of the citizen. We should do more than enjoy the show. We should seize the narrative by bringing ourselves to the fact that we can't allow them to toy us around and play as they wish. We've got to make sure we put certain pressure on them to do the right thing. So what is the office of the citizen doing? What is the media doing at this time? Are we enjoying their show, or are we telling them, guys, you are getting distracted? I need to know. We are waiting for you. You can play your game, you can do what you wish, but we are waiting for you. And this is what we are waiting to do at the polls. We need to know what you are telling. All the discussions, look at the papers, you're talking about energy and refineries and things like that. I want to ask one question. Who is that candidate that has given us a definitive solution to our power problem? Who is that candidate? Can you really say so as a Nigerian? And if you cannot say so, what are you expecting in the next 4 years? So I think that we should go beyond the stories, the shows, and all those things, and ask ourselves, have we set agenda for the politicians? Something happened yesterday that I was really impressed. The youth of Akwa Ibom State under Clement Isong Foundation and USAID, they set up a dialogue for candidates, for governorship candidates, maybe what they consider the top governorship candidates. And a few of us were invited. We put on the spot for 3 hours. Tell us your project, your position for the youth specifically. And at the end of the day, they had a charter and they said, this is what we want. Can you subscribe to this? Can you sign to this? And I personally had to look at them one by one. Education, they say, give us 15%. I had to say, no, I won't be able to do that because of the economy of the state. I can go 10. Healthcare, they say 15%. I said, no, it's not possible. I can do 8. The other candidate, committed themselves because this is going to be kept. And then at the end of the day, you're going to be weighed against what you committed yourself to. I told them not going to sign just anything just to make everybody happy. I said, no. All right. I was the first to say, oh, I can't take this. So what am I saying? Let the office of the citizen set agenda and not just enjoy the show of these politicians.
All right. Let's quickly take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper here now. NNPC is saying that petrol will cost 410 naira per litre. And my question is, do you think we should still talk about subsidy removal? Should we still remove subsidy? Yeah. If petrol will cost 410?
My sister, let me ask you a question. There are ways of determining the price of a product. There are ways. It's not rocket science. What is the international, crude price? That's number one. Number two, what is the cost that you buy it from? Number three, what is the cost of transportation? Number four, what are the charges at the ports? And number five, what is the margin of the importer? How do you go from 200 to 400? In fact, 100 is about a year when Jonathan left, say 8 years ago, the cost was below 200, was about 120 or 100 and 100 and something. My question is, how many times has the cost of a barrel of oil increased? Where is all the exponential cost from? Because to my knowledge, the cost of freight is marginal in terms of change. You understand? The charges are within us in Nigeria. The margin is a standard. So how do we justify a movement from 87 naira to 145 to 400? Where are the differentials from? Don't just tell me if we remove subsidy. Don't tell me that. I'm cerebral. My mother went through hell to send me to school. Give me the breakdown. Don't give me a ballpark figure. Give me the breakdown. Because what if all these are like charges within Nigeria? If there are charges within Nigeria, why can't we move them out at the port and everything? Why can't we reduce the charges? If it's the margin of profit for the importers, why can't we look at it and say, look, this is a national sacrifice. Instead of like 30% markup, why don't you just go by 15% when all factors have been considered? Because we want to get revenue. So we are putting a lot of charges on these people, and we turn around and say we are subsidizing. It doesn't make sense. We are giving with one hand and taking with another hand. How does it add up? It's just this opaque, the opaque governance structure that we run. What is so wrong in opening the books and let us know what these different prices are? I want the media, your house, to tell me exactly what the landed cost of a liter of diesel or petrol is in Nigeria. And let me know what the charges are at the port. Let me know what the margin is to the person, and then we'll now be able to have a conversation. So and please, I also want to know why we cannot refine this product in Nigeria. It's a ring that these people have put around us. And I want a presidential candidate to come and say, this is the situation. If I'm the president, this is what I will do. Commit yourself to it. Make Nigerians to know, and then let them decide whether they want to stick with the status quo or they want to move.
All right. What are your thoughts on, it's a lead story on the Nation newspaper this morning. Malam Melekari, the CEO, I don't know why they still call him GMD, but the CEO of the NNPCL, saying that his life is under threat. Oil thieves are threatening his life. I mean, it reminds me of the late Dora Akunyili, who also had this kind of experience. Is this what we should be hearing from the man? Of course, you know what's been happening in recent times with the discovery of these oil theft pipelines that the NNPC says they were never aware of all these years.
You know, I really think that Nigerians should wake up and smell the coffee. We have behaved like little children that can be tossed to and fro by anybody that comes into power. We need to wake up. It's been very clear that oil theft is institutional framework, institutional makeup. It is not the oil bunkering little people carrying jerry can. It's been made over clear that this thing is the institution, the establishment, and maybe he's calling Nigerians to say this establishment, they are after me. What is the EFCC boss saying? Oh, we're going to investigate. Investigate what? For how long? What is the National Security Advisor saying? What are the service chiefs saying? What is the Attorney General of the Federation saying? What is Mr. President at the end of the day, who happens to be the Minister of Petroleum, saying about the fact that what is going on in the oil theft section is a systems undertaking? It is done by the administration. to put it very, very boldly.
Do you feel any sympathy for Melekari with this situation? I mean, his life is being threatened.
I do sympathize with him. I think that Nigerians should not take it for granted, because if that man is made to keep quiet or eliminated, every other person is going to be afraid. So let Nigerians, let the office of the citizen raise up and come behind him. Just like when they said there were these rumors that they were going to remove the chairman of INEC, and we're very, very happy with the reforms that were coming on, and they wanted to reverse the beavers. Nigerians, CUPP led Nigerians and civil societies say, you can't touch that man, you can't touch that man. No, nothing, no reversal can be done. Because of that, it made people to start to say, wow, if we touch this man, it's like it's come to open, everybody knows. So I think that Nigerians should ask Mr. President to say something. I think that Nigerians should say, Mr. President, if anything happens to the CEO of NNPCL, that we will not take it kindly with him. Nigerians should rise up and be behind the man. The civil society should come, because those revelations are going to save us a lot. Losing so much on a daily basis, if you extrapolate the figures, we won't even need to do a lot of the borrowings that we're doing, because these figures are humongous. It's not a little thing.
Ezekiel Yaituk,
yes.
Let's quickly share your thoughts on this one. Nigerian Americans winning their elections, about 8 of them has gotten, including the president, celebrating, and other, Nigerians as well, very prominent, especially from the political class. Your thoughts on this?
Number one, I am one of their cheerleaders, one of those hailing them. But Mr. President, please know that they could never have been if the playing field was not level. So as you celebrate them, know that there's a weight of responsibility on you to repeat that in Nigeria, so that whosoever is good enough can win. Once you create that level playing ground, then we will be able to hail your hailing. If not so, then it is hypocritical. If you see people succeed because the level playing ground is created, you don't create that, and then you are supposedly hailing them. It's not true. It's hypocritical. But from what Mr. President has done so far with allowing the political process to go the way it has gone, I want to say that on that score, I continue to hail Mr. President and to tell him, sir, just stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. The change of the Naira notes and all those things is part of that big game plan. As much as Nigerians are going to go through the pains, let us go through this pain so that our election 2023 is relatively free of this money, the vote buying. We can go through the pains, and let me even use this, maybe my last words to say, don't make the mistake of rushing to buy dollars. You are going to regret. In January, when Naira has ceased and all the banking is there, people cannot give $100 bill to politicians for vote. As a result, they are going to be looking for where to sell their dollar bills so they can get back Naira. Dollar is going to come down to less than 500. I'm telling you for a fact. Think about it. It's just commonsensical. By the time they are looking for Naira notes and all they have is dollars, and they cannot afford to give dollar, because at that time, maybe a dollar will be maybe at 70,000 Naira. You can't be giving, voters 70,000 Naira. You can't. Nobody will do that. Even at 500, you still can't give the dollar bills. You are going to be looking for Naira left, right, and center, and it's going to be in the hands of the central bank and the commercial banks, and you won't be able to get enough out. So you see people saying, look, instead of me giving somebody 70,000 Naira, 50,000 Naira, buy my dollar at 20,000 Naira so I can give 10 people to 2,000. Dollar is going to fall so much that from January, I can tell you for a fact, take that to the bank. So if you have your dollars, don't be in a hurry to buy more, because dollar in January is going to crash in a way. What I've told you is just commonsensical. Think about it before you enter February or election.
We have to go. Thank you so much, Ezekiel Nyaitok. It's always a delight, to listen to you share your thoughts on national issues. We look forward to having you on the show next week.
Thanks so much. You guys are awesome pair.
And that's the size of it this morning on The Breakfast. We take a break, and when we return, Kofi, with time for us to delve into, a major conversation right here. Gas production and whether or not the product is available or not available is what we'll be looking at. Please stay with us.